Welcome everyone. Monday, Moon Day, Eclipse Day, New Moon. Just breathing into the newness, a fresh cycle coming in. Beautiful new moon energy washing through. Refreshing the old, letting go of the past. Greetings everyone who's arriving now. You made it through the eclipse, but that energy is still working its magic. So let's just bask in the glow for a minute here, just tuning into the body, tuning into the awareness. Noticing what's happening inside of you. Like take a back seat. Just hop into your captain's chair. Just noticing. First things first, breath, oxygen, space, lots of space. Happy birthday, Karuna. Lots of space around everyone. Delicious space. Space is the place. We're space beings. It's clearing out all that stuff that comes in between the space. So we just clear, open, loving space. Beautiful space. Solar eclipse. I see eclipses as opportunities. It's also like a harsh guillotine that comes down and just cuts out something. Could be your mind is eclipsed. Could be the past is eclipsed. All sorts of things get eclipsed. Karmas get eclipsed. Sorts of things going by way of the past. Like a last blast of the past, just releasing it. And like a dream, it's gone, right? Where did it just go? Just totally gone. Beautiful space, beautiful feeling. Allowing, aligning, new cycles beginning. In 1 year, 98% of your molecules regenerate. In 1 month, your entire skin regenerates. In 3 days, your stomach lining regenerates. Body is a regenerative miracle, right? Healing just doesn't happen here or there. Healing is a continuous phenomenon. Okay, so we have someone with low-grade fever, aches, fatigue. Okay, so let's just have that disappear in the course of the session. So just program that to be gone. The eclipse energy is bringing up old toxins, purifying us, getting us ready for the new cycles. Sometimes when that arises, the body feels weaker, right? You don't actually need the fever. So let's just delete the fever. Right? The body heats itself up for various reasons, but the bugs don't need to be cooked out. They need to be electrocuted by your manganese and copper. So for everyone, if you have any kind of low-grade weakness, illness, cold happening, we're going to strengthen the blood, right? Spiral the blood clockwise, energizing the blood, feeling the life force glow through you. It's like the eclipse came and took something, right? And so now there's a vacuum space. There's some emptiness that needs to be filled. So let's breathe. Fresh oxygen coming in. We get younger when we breathe in. So we're just rejuvenating with the oxygen. Oxygen makes us younger. 24 hours a day, you're breathing. It's giving us 90% of our energy. And a lot of that goes to the brain. So we want to relax the brain. Release your shoulders and neck. Find that comfortable position, comfortable posture. It could mean you sit up a little straighter, get a little taller. Relaxing brain. Just let the warmth come through, the healing energy can feel like a warm flow in the body and the blood. Feel the rejuvenative feeling as we gather ourselves, gather the energy together. Aligning. Meditation is the consolidation. No leaks. All right, want to consolidate, integrate, levitate, and breathe. Respirate. So with the eclipse energy, if there's anything negative, just so it passes right through you, be like, be empty. Release the sense of egoic density. Be like a flute, just clear, open, nothing to hook. Nobody can mess with you when you're nobody. It's like hit that nobody button. Just poof. Hello, emptiness. I love emptiness button. Just loving the emptiness. It's so full feeling. Mostly because the part of you that's watching is so mighty and wondrous. Just fill everything up with our presence. So to notice how, in a sense, largesse, notice that largesse, notice how big you are energetically. Lots of space for all that love. Replace any fear, any false evidence appearing real. Untruths that we tell ourselves, things that, who knows why we believe them. The thought-free state is a great state. Gentle breath. I brought some meditation poems. There where my breath stops is a very quiet place. The air is heavy like gravity, but light like permission. I can reach into the molecules and pull out roses of indescribable blue fire. Windy thoughts can ripple this pond's surface into something else. And yet, I always return to the darkness filled with possibility. Its emptiness negotiates my density like a lawyer. It speaks to things that scare me. Here I am the king of judges, the emperor of lawyers. But there are no arguments except the insistence of sapphire dreams that can turn into anything I want. In Robert Bly fashion, I'll read it again. Sometimes the first time it washes through, we experience it in a certain kind of way. Its colors, its feelings, the tone. We try to understand it. Maybe we understand it. And then the second time, it comes through differently. It's called Open Secret. There where my breath stops is a very quiet place. The air is heavy like gravity, but light like permission. I can reach into the molecules and pull out roses of indescribable blue fire. Windy thoughts can ripple this pond's surface into something else. And yet, I always return to this darkness, filled with possibility. Its emptiness negotiates my density like a lawyer. It speaks to things that scare me. But here I'm the king of judges, the emperor of lawyers. But there are no arguments except the insistence of sapphire dreams that can turn into anything I want. Breath. Slow moving, the tide sweeps into the channel. Cellular electricity stirs my breath. Actually, it should be read. Cellular electricity stirs. My breath is my support, my companion. An agreement with the life force, a contact of interconnectivity, a contract, a friend who loves me as much as I let her, filling me, a 50-50 proposition. Ah, the gentle wash of oxygen. My friend, I find you when I stop looking, riding the waves of my breath, as if time were waiting up for herself, holding open the door for those who don't speak, the silent ones, the angels, robed in light who glide in like the night air. Now I know when I find my voice, who's really speaking. Finding my voice in the soft moisture of my breath, warming me to myself, lifting my chest, caressing my throat. Wakened by a primordial throb arising from the depths of my diaphragm, rushing forth into a brave and colder unknown as thoughts twist in the drier topsoil of human discourse. Who is this one who in day has gone to seed, and the night air is absorbed into the dream? The male comes, enjoys the dream of the waking state, so vast in the cup of his imagination, breathed in the infinite corridors of the arms of space. Does the seed have a blooming chance when the fiery moisture is near? Finding my voice in the soft moisture of my breath, warming me to myself, lifting my chest, caressing my throat. Awakened by a primordial throb arising from the depths of my diaphragm, rushing forth into a brave and colder unknown as thoughts twist in the drier topsoil of human discourse. And on a lighter note, and so you are. Express your doodle, free your brain. You might discover you're a bit insane, but that's okay. Your mind's a jangle. Explore the parts you can untangle. And so you are, and that's because whatever you did was what it was. And now for a political poem. Not really, sort of. It's called In a Quantum. I know what you're thinking, because your mind keeps blinking on and off like a digital switch. I know what you're thinking, Mrs. Abraham Lincoln, that politics is a stinking bitch. Jumping out of the clarity of particularity into the visibility of possibility, into the diatribe of real politic, increases the urgency for an earth-centered, life-affirming conversation stick. Listen, listen, listening. Otherwise, how do we know what to do when the plan we thought would work just failed you? Better not to think, I think. Put stride in your glide. The forces that are you and the forces that are me are conspiring here together to be as free as we can be. Slow knowing or flow knowing despite the going flow. Reason to believe is reason to conceive. I love you, sunshine. I love you, moon, I whisper to myself. So we're just whispering to ourselves the beautiful mantra of the breath. Hamsa means swan in Sanskrit. And if you break it down, it means hum, and sa means I am that in Sanskrit. So it's an equation of identity. You say that you are that, you are everything. Confirming, affirming your identity with the great oneness, just noticing this. Noticing this bliss as we breathe. Softening. And if you're tense at all, you can roll your neck, shoulders around a little bit. Rub your palms together. Shake them out. You know, if you have any kind of, excuse me, issues with wrists, maybe you're typing too much, carpal tunnel stuff, joint issues, what feels maybe like arthritis could just be garbage in the joints. And sometimes the way we stand and operate structurally creates sort of strange residuals in the hands. And so literally, I totally recommend whenever you can, if you have any of those kind of issues, or even if you don't, just keeping these wonderful hands totally loose. Right? You can, all sorts of ways to do it. Right. You can shake the arms out. All right. Breathe. Because stiffness will impede your thinking, right? It'll impede your loving, impede your resonance. So we just want to be like Gumby, be super flexy. You can palm your eyes. Breathe through your nose. And then just kind of lift the stuff out if necessary. Right, your hands carry a lot of magnetics, so we just literally pull this garbage out if there's in your brainstem. Literally just pull it out. If I get too munged up with cell phones or electronics, literally just pull this stuff out. It really is like kind of sticky material. It's like webbing, right? Just go to this. Literally just pull it out, snap it away, right? And if you feel like the corners of your rooms are clogging up with entities or strange accumulations, you can, right? Sometimes 3 claps, the odd number of claps into the corners, busts up some energy. And you can clap out some funky monkeys in your own field too. And so you have this sort of waveform, right? Like kelp beds just vibrating in the current. Like this antenna, just receiving gazillions of bits of information. Right? The universe is a kind of hologram, right? It's information, right? And it gives us information, keeps us in formation. The brain is evidently similarly holographic. According to David Bohm, who studies these things, the physicist, there's the implicate order, the universe on the inside, and the explicate order on the outside. There's a particular kind of ratio to everything. In Indian philosophy, they talk about the 5-fold act of creation. And we know this with each thought we think, right? You sustain, maintain, and blow away, kill off, destroy the thought after a while. So it arises, sustains, and then fades away. And then the other two acts of creation are this concealment and revealment, meaning the part of you that's watching you be you. The supreme I am plays hide and seek, right? You forget that you're the divine force. It's like peekaboo, peekaboo, right? Supreme Self is reflecting back to you, peekaboo. Self-reflecting universe in Sanskrit is called, I love this, bimba pratibimba. It means mirror, bimba, against the mirror, right? So you've got two reflecting mirrors, and you know what that's like in a hair salon, right? When you got infinite mirror reflection. And so in the palace of mirrors, no barking dogs, right? We just want beautiful feelings, resonating, vibrating the universe. So with those prompts, let's just drop inside again. I like to do this sort of punctuated meditation thing where spend a little time in meditation and come back and kind of swim around together. Music and poetry and whatever wisdom comes through. And then kind of dive back in, sort of meditation party. It's hard to meditate for that long for a lot of folks. And so that's okay. Remember this one teacher, I'm blanking on his name, he said, oh, all you have to do with meditation is make the connection and that's it. So he sat down on a chair and popped right back up again and went, connected, right? So maybe your meditation is 1 second. You just like link in and you're there, right? Then you're in Sahaja Samadhi, open eye meditation. So we're just going to drop into whether you want to be in open eye, Sahaja, the natural state, or Savikalpa, Samadhi, that's meditating on an object, right? You could meditate on Ganesh. Where's Ganesh? There's Ganesh. You could meditate on a candle. If your eyes are closed, you could meditate on my voice, or your breath, your inner voice. Meditate on a thing that helps the mind focus. And then when you're done with things, you can release into the thought-free state. You don't need the object to pin your consciousness into a focused manner, right? You can release the object of the meditation, and then you're in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. It's like kalpa means like thought, like a non-thought state of uniform flow. Hey, if you can get there, hey, you got it, right? That's it. You're there. So we're just flowing in this Nirvikalpa, Sahaja, Savikalpa, Samadhi state, whichever one you prefer. Even with things going on around you, you can be in a Nirvikalpa state, actually. I've actually helped heal people in bars with rock bands. Meaning whatever's going on doesn't matter, right? If you're completely absorbed within. There's people that write novels in bars, right? They like the distraction around them so they can concentrate. They feel more comfortable and cozy with the community. So we're just going to drop in now. Let's just say next 3 minutes. Deep zone meditation. Take the music down. Just notice who's observing deep inside. The part of you that's watching you be you is observing. Observe this observer. Be the viewer, not the doer. And then if you need to move a tiny bit, make it mostly your breath. Your chest rises, falls back. Notice how much bliss has accumulated in your joints, in your body, from being so still. And sometimes you won't notice it until you move. It's like, oh. It's softer, it's lighter, it's more effortless. It's almost like, wow, you have a new body, right? Because the alteration of the consciousness has changed your perception ever so slightly. So just bask in the glow. The eclipse should have helped you meditate just now, right? There's a certain kind of magic in the air from it. In some countries, it's considered inauspicious, like you don't want to look at it. It's like dark energy, right? But darkness and light, it's all part of this wondrous creation, so we can have a good experience with the darkness as well. It's like cozy dark, right? Womb-like dark. We're just basking in that glow. Even with your eyes open, even if you're not formally meditating in this moment, it's like just observing the world from this quiet place. It's very satisfying. Being in and of itself is very satisfying. This morning at 4:44, I woke up. It's like the angel, one of those angel numbers, right? Angel woke me up, and I ended up staying up, meditating, doing yoga. It's like, wow, the eclipse gave me a booster, and it feels really good. So I advise extra meditation. You might not have slept well last night. I'm getting a lot of reports about that. Everybody's texting me, what happened? What was going on last night? I'm like, an eclipse. So your sleep got eclipsed a little bit, perhaps. But maybe some of the karmas that hold us down also got eclipsed. As we move towards this Aquarian age window next Monday, solstice portal into Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, Wow. Incredible expansion. Aquarian age opening next week. And we'll be meditating on Monday. So maybe we'll sing the song Aquarius or something. So we breathe. New moon energy. Planting the new cycle. New moons are kind of like tax day. You know, like, you should have them in by then, right? Have everything done, caught up. If you're not caught up with this cycle, you still have time. There's always time. So the moon has a magical effect on our field, on our evolution, the sun and the moon, all the planets. Very interesting astrology is happening. A very old cycle is coming to a close. Some folks are saying it's as big as the Renaissance. I mean, that's literally, it's an 800-year cycle embedded in there too. So what does that mean? Let's just breathe. It's infinite potential. The Renaissance was an incredible time of creativity, which reminds me of Marshall Rosenberg's 9 basic needs. Let's just take a look at those for a minute. These are the needs that, they're general needs. They could be met in various ways, right? Infinite strategies for these needs. So what are these basic needs? See if I can remember them. So we have shelter, food, water, housing. We have safety. We need love. We need creativity. Yes, Dan is bringing me the list. I just put it on the refrigerator. Hey, right on track. Except I skipped empathy. Number 4. Number 5, creativity. Number 6, recreation. Rest, play. And meditation is a kind of recreation of sorts. There's a creative aspect to it. There's an empathic aspect to it. There's safety, love. All these things are there. Then we get autonomy, meaning, and community. So it seems like it kind of goes from almost like the base up, right? From basic sustenance, root chakra issues, safety, and then moving more into resonance with other lovers, love, empathy, people, creativity, recreation. And when you get higher up, it's more autonomy, meaning, community. Maybe more, those are more evolved needs, but they're needs nonetheless. But what I love about Marshall Rosenberg is this idea that the needs could be met in an infinite number of ways, which means you can't use them as excuses to, be mad at your husband or your wife because they're not, fulfilling your needs. Because there's all kinds of ways to fulfill your needs and still remain monogamous. So, let's just, with that list, notice which of these needs might need to be met for you. Some folks, the lockdown is creating basic sustenance issues. Safety, maybe not so safe with finances and germs and things like that. What love is that? Love is there, right? We have infinite love. Oh, let's just breathe into that love, that spaciousness that makes all things so wondrous. Empathy, being able to feel other folks' pain. If you can't, well, you're probably not tuning into this broadcast. I have met sociopathic people. It's really strange. I had a student once who was convinced that animals had no feelings. It just completely blew my mind that anyone could think that, feel that. Just, you know, creativity. You know, every single person is a completely unique and creative expression of the divine. So whether you consider yourself a great artist or not, you are pure creativity. There's no moment in time that's the same, right? In your pulsation. So we're just noticing our amazing creativity just flowing out of us. There was on Facebook one time I noticed a friend of mine had taken a fast movie camera, speeded up film of himself meditating, and he noticed how much he moved, right? It sort of looked like this, meditating. And when we were just meditating a minute ago, it didn't feel like that, for me anyway. How was it for you? Is your body vibrating a lot? What's happening when you're meditating? Are you moving a lot? Right? Eventually, if you meditate in the morning, I meditated for an hour this morning. I don't always meditate for that long, but just a good hour. And now you can feel that. I can feel the effect of that, right? There's more space in my brain. There's just more spaciousness in my thoughts. There's more space in my thinking. There's a lighter feeling. It's an incredible thing. So I recommend. And then when we get to recreation, we're not getting enough of that, maybe. Autonomy, well, that seems to be the need of the COVID gift, right? We're all becoming autonomous, whether you and your laptop. And then meaning. Meaning is way more important than we believe. I feel like if people, their lives become meaningless, they don't last long. And then community. This is maybe the biggest problem with this situation right now, right? We're not connecting to our community on the blood level, touch level. So let's breathe in just to connect to community in this way. This might not be quite as satisfying as sitting in a room with all of us here, but it may be as satisfying in a different way, right? You have more individual freedom to stand on your head, do whatever you want, and yet we're still connecting. Let's just drop back down in meditation. Just take a good look at your situation and see what's shifted in just, what is it now, 45, 46, 7 minutes since we've been together? Let's see, I don't have my glasses. Love, empathy, creativity. I think you wrote, does that say clothing? Let me get my glasses. Anyway, it's gone, but I think you got it right. Basic needs, you could Google them. Marshall Rosenberg, the 9 needs. So we're just experiencing this in their body. Your needs, one of the interesting things that Marshall Rosenberg says is that most of the time your needs are already met. You don't even realize that they're met, right? We just think they're not met. Now, it might be that if you're alone in COVID and you haven't had touch and much human connection, well, that's a genuine need. Right? So we're going to drop in and connect to community, people, universe, so that if you're feeling empty, lonely, sad, depressed, right, we're going to reverse this polarity. And instead of being depressed, let's have deep rest. How about that? Tend the balance, yes. It's all about the balance of electric pressure in the body, negative and positive. And if it's out of balance, we start arcing into negative electric emotions, right? Or right, you can go south. So we want those alkaline emotions, full of space, clear, empathic, resonant. And even if you feel alone, how about this? Leapfrog to your friends. Each friend. Fever is gone, says Susan. Lots of postnatal drip now. Okay, so yes, you've been healed. So we're bringing it down to balance. You want your blood to spiral. This is for everyone now. But I'm targeting Susan's postnasal drip. So what does that mean? It means you're still slightly on the negative, or call it acid-base side of the continuum. It means there's too many particles per cubic centimeter. So we want to defrag you, right? De-densify, lighten up, clear egoic thoughts, bring in the light, get super flexible, fluid, rangy, bubbly. If we do that in the moment, we feel better. Postnasal drip. So here, for anyone out there who's got sinus issues, I was talking to folks in New Jersey today. It was rainy and cold and there's storms coming in. So if you're in the New York area and it's damp, we are going to zap your sinuses, frontal sinuses, maxillary sinuses, ethmoid sinuses, deep sinuses, sphenoidal sinuses, back of the nose, just clearing out the empty space in the brain, cerebral spinal fluid refresh, spinal cord, strong axis down, anchored into the earth. This is a zap healing for everyone. We're just calling on the Supreme Beam to download some mega Shakti to everyone. Thank you, God. Thank you, universe. It's energizing, Captain. Beam us up, Scotty. More Shakti in the Udana coming up. Chest tightness gone, says Susan. Yes. Okay, so this shows you what we can do, right? Any person in this arena here is, if you got issues with negative charge, they probably start popping with such a strong field in effect. Healing intention plus frequency, which is a kind of love, kind of intelligence, resonance, clarity, just cuts right through the mucus. And so what's happening, if other folks out there, if you want to report any improvements happening, it's always good for folks to see that the meditation energy, the healing downloads are working, that when you have non-alkaline body and we meditate together, it's going to de-densify this density, right? It's going to lighten you up, and as soon as that happens, the blood starts to spiral, the body gets happy, the conditions of disease start to dissolve. The cells stop creating, the little protids in the cells stop making viruses and fungus and mold and bacteria, right? Literally these cells are like little factories of the stuff, right? So we're just deleting. More upaksha sauce, yes. Softening, yes. That's my favorite yoga command, right? It's a multi-vector thing. If you soften, everything softens. Sinuses are more relaxed and clear, good. Breathing deeply. Malika, good. Malika, glad to hear it. Breathing. Poetry opens us up. Poetry brings in more oxygen. Nan feels refreshed, not dreading chores. Good. Interesting eclipse. Does seem positive, yes. Well, let's look at this, what you just said, dreading chores and resolving that, not dreading the chores. That brings up this idea that, you know, suffering is a kind of strange choice, what we make, right? We decide that, oh, life is difficult. That's a decision, right? You decided that. I decided this, oh my God, what am I thinking? So let's reverse that. Life is not suffering unless we make it so, right? Pain happens, yes. Suffering is a choice. So we resolve, release the suffering choice. Delete the files. More space. Create more space. Is that a Sanskrit phrase, when we soften everything? That's English, but it's just something I learned from a yoga teacher once, that you know, when you're doing yoga, usually they say, you know, stretch forward, or there's single commands for certain parts of the body to do very specific things, but then the softening hits every molecule, right? It's just a, what would be the Sanskrit for that? Bliss, maybe, ananda, right? To experience ananda. Just to feel bliss. You almost have to decide to feel it, unless circumstances have, you know, won you the lottery or something. But it's not necessary to win the lottery to feel bliss. We can just feel the bliss. It's just right there underneath your agitated brain, right? So as soon as the brain relaxes, the mind quiets, there's the bliss. Mandam. Thank you, Kevin. Kevin Dunning. You may be the yoga teacher I heard this from. Actually, it was on Blake's broadcast, so I thank you for that, if that was you. I believe you might be up in San Luis Obispo. So, aho. So we breathe. Softening. Whoa. And then notice the earth. Gravity loves you. Love is a kind of gravity, right? Kind of recursive gravity that pulls us in, right? Pulls us back into the heart. Whoa. And love loves to surf the long waves, like these giant fractal waves of creation, the dragon lines, the big stuff, right? What do we do, silly us? We enter into the left brain, which is kind of like a paper shredder. It's sort of like, right? Left brain is going to chop everything up in little pieces and try to put it back together, right? It's the Sherlock Holmes part of your being. And then meanwhile, the right brain is sort of handling the opposite of that, right? The geospatial, like, expansion. It's father aligned, right? who does the right brain with us, right? Ah, yes, Shanti Shivani, yes, Kevin, yes, San Francisco, bass player, yes. So, I lost my train of thought, but that's okay. So, we're breathing. Just noticing the bliss moving through your blood. It spirals clockwise. Good feeling, attracting the healing. Well, it's almost that time. I plugged my guitar into some fun little electronics. And let's just see. Kind of turns it into a electronic piano. You know, we think of waves as looking like sine waves, but in fact they're vortices. Let's do an English chant. It comes from the opera Hair, rock opera. It's Let the Sun Shine. And there's different harmonies we could do. I'm just gonna sing that around. Let the sun shine, let the sun shine, let the sun shine. Just gonna go around and around, and I'll do it slowly so you can kind of join in and sing along. So glad you're feeling healed, Susan. I'm just gonna let that sun shine. Let the sun shine. Let the sun shine. The sun shining. Let the sun shine. Let the sun shine. The sun shining. We'll find the right notes. It was Kabir that recommended I sing this. And there he is. Let the sun shine. Let the sun shine. The sun shining. Let the sun shine. Let the sun shine. The sun shining. Let the sun shine. Let the sun shine. The sun shining. Let the sun shine. Let the sun shine. The sun shining. Let the sun shine. Let the sun shine. The sun shining. Sunshine. Let the sun shine. The sun shining. Let the sun shine. Let the sun shine. The sun shining. sunshine. Let the sunshine, the sun shine in. Let the sunshine, let the sunshine, the sun shine in. Let your light shine on. You're getting younger. Younger, younger, younger. Getting younger, 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 younger. You're getting younger. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you mañana. Live at 5 onwards. Have a beautiful evening.